I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of the Opposition Preview. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And Chelsea head to Selhurst Park on Saturday, looking for a first win in 3 games, having been embarrassed by Ipswich on Monday night, lost to Fulham on Boxing Day. It's 1 point and 1 goal in the last 3, so 3 points is definitely required. Last couple of games at Selhurst Park between the two of us have actually been pretty decent. 2 last-minute winners for us. Conor Gallagher, I think, scoring both of them. Obviously, he's gone now, so that won't be happening this time round. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting affair for sure. Delighted to be joined by D from Back of the Nest for this one, mate. Great to catch up as always. I was saying to you before we started recording, the way you boys finished under Glasner last season, I sort of had you as an outside bet for European football this season. Obviously, Michael Elise left in the summer. Some of the recruitment maybe wasn't the best, perhaps didn't get enough in. You don't need reminding, I'm sure, but you boys are 15th, 5 points above the drop zone. Are you surprised how much you've struggled this season, or did you kind of expect it?
I think I'm surprised because it took us a while to get a win. But then again, as we spoke about it right before we start recording, we do need to sign more players. Our summer business in hindsight wasn't as good. And, you know, we lost Elise. Anderson, for me, isn't even a concern, to be fair. I know a lot of people did think, you know, Joachim Anderson leaving is going to be a big problem. But Maxence Lacroix, I did think, you know, he fits into the system much more because he's faster, he's younger. He's played under Oliver Glasner as well before. So it's been mainly going forward. We haven't scored enough goals. Defensively, we've been okay, apart from the Arsenal game, which was a just not normal scenario where they had like 6 shots on target, 5 goals, but we didn't defend the box well enough. But apart from that, I mean, I think we've only lost about 3 out of our last 11 games or something like that. So it hasn't been too bad, but we've had a lot of draws. We haven't had that many wins. We beat Southampton coming back from behind, which was positive. Of course, if we lost to Southampton, that would have been a bit scary. We've had some decent results along the way in the past month or so. So, yeah, our form is slowly getting better. The new players especially, are getting to, and Glasner is getting to understand each other, which is definitely helping. However, for me, Palace will remain where we are in terms of being inconsistent with results, I guess, in terms of not getting consecutive wins until we sign more players. It's known. Thankfully, the board, it seems like by all the transfer rumors as well, the board know what we need to do. A new left wing back and another number 10. That's the minimum requirement because, yeah, we're lacking the creativity and we're also lacking the width with the wing back options as good as Mitchell's been. But look, I don't think we'll go down. I didn't think we'll go down even when we were struggling because we have got talent there. But for us, it's not even about going down. This season shouldn't be about talking about relegation, as you said. Not even European spots. For me, top 10 was the aim. It's still the aim. I know we're not that far off it. If we can go on a nice little run, I think we can target it once again. But yeah, it is going to be difficult. It all depends on if the club are serious or not. If we sign players, then I think it's, you know, then we'll win more games.
I mean, as a Palace fan, you look at someone like Forest and what they're doing this season. Do you sort of look at that and think maybe if we were backed a little bit more in a transfer market, you know, you've got a decent group of players, you've got a good manager that you could have done, maybe not be second, for example, or third or whatever it is, but you could be doing something a little bit similar. Do you sort of look at the Forest situation and think maybe that could have been us potentially if, you know, the manager was backed a bit more, if the recruitment was a little bit better?
Yeah. Well, look, Forest are a bigger club than Palace. I mean, we don't even have to even look at Forest. We can look at the likes of Bournemouth. You know, they've done a fantastic job in terms of recruitment. Even when we face them away from home, we managed to get a draw against them, which is not a bad result because, I mean, they've got results against a few decent sides so far this season and they're doing well. But you look at their options off the bench compared to our options off the bench, you can just tell, like, the depth is not there. Even with Palace, I know we've had a few injuries. For example, Adam Wharton this season, despite him even playing in games earlier on in the season, he was never the Adam Wharton we know because he's been playing for an injury. He's had a surgery and he's been out for a while now, since November-ish or October. It's been a long time, it feels like. So he's still not fit. Cheikh Doucouré's come back from an injury which took him out for like over a year. So we haven't been able to start him in more more games. And yeah, you look at these other sides, and if we did spend more money and if we did strengthen, I don't think it's a case of just money. It's about the targeting of the position. For example, with Elise, we replaced him with 3 players. We decided to go with Nketiah, Ismail Sarr, and Daiji Kamada. All 3 are kind of different profiles. Sarr's more pacey getting behind. Nketiah is actually a striker, so I don't know why Nketiah was even kind of mentioned there. But yeah, he's one of the names being mentioned as like the free replacement. And then Daiji Kamada, who is a number 10, who hasn't been performing at the levels that he should be at, that we signed him on a free over the summer. So yeah, I would have preferred us to sign a player like Emma Smith-Rowe. I know he's injured, but has an injury concern, but similar profile, because at least those kinds of players can create options. That's what we're missing right now. Sarr, for example, he will start against Chelsea, and he will have runs in behind, but in the tight spaces, that's not his game really. He needs space to run into, and we just don't have that creative number 10 right now to perform. So yeah, I mean, we should have spent more money, but even with the money that we have spent, which wasn't a lot, because of course we got rid of Elise and Anderson, we just didn't target the right areas, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think you notice nowadays in football, the recruitment is just so important. And even if you get it wrong in like one window, it can actually set you back quite a bit, which maybe Palace are experiencing now. Obviously, you've lost Elise, big blow. I think kind of Palace probably expected that to happen. You managed to keep hold of Gerhi, which is a plus, of course. How different is your football this season without Michael Elise? I know that might sound like a bit of a stupid question, but like, is the drop off in form and how you're playing, is that very, very different now without Elise?
Yeah, it is. I mean, that right hand side, it has been getting better since Sarr's been starting a bit more consistently. Munoz and Sarr building a connection, but that right hand side, in all honesty, as I said, it has been getting better from the first game till now, but it's not at the levels that it should be at. And that's a simple reality, because we just don't. Sarr's not a creative number 10. As much as he's scored goals, he's still not that creative player. And Munoz is, adjusting to life there. So I think the right hand side compared to the left hand side, even the left hand side, for example, this squad is missing balance. That's what it is. With Elise going, it kind of messed up the balance of the whole team, because the right hand side is a bit is now, without him playing as a number 10, you just don't have that creative player there, which impacts the right wing back in terms of Munoz and the space that he has. And then another big minus for us this season was not actually losing Mitchell, because Mitchell, of course, stayed in the squad. But, when the manager first comes in and you see a few players that just flourish, and now that he's been here for a while, you kind of know what to expect from the system, and you're kind of seeing that, they're back down to reality. And the reality is that Mitchell's not wing back. He's a fullback. He's a very good defensive player. Even Glasner said it a few weeks ago, but he's not a wing back. So what that means is that the width areas, we don't have much, because teams don't really have to worry about him as much. I know he's still a threat, but he's not as much of a threat. So Eze, for example, he's been impacted because he doesn't have another creative number 10, and he doesn't have on his left-hand side, he doesn't have the wing-back option who's actually like a threat, which teams can target and give Eze a bit more space. So it's kind of the whole balance of the team is being a bit like messed up, especially going forward. But saying that, we haven't been terrible recently. Apart from the Arsenal game, we've been competitive in every game. We have got wins, and we're looking to get more consecutive wins now. I think that's the problem. So it's all about the window now. It's all about the window. It's about fixing it, because there's still a large chunk of the season to be played. There's the FA Cup. Yep. There's the second half of the season. There's so many points to be collected. So for me, like, the season ain't over. We're not in that territory just yet, because we've seen it. It's crazy. Like, if you win 1 or 2 games from 11th, then you might go up to 5th or 4th. So we just have to reach that pack, and for us to do that, we need to win back-to-back games. It's as simple as that.
No, for sure. I mean, your form has improved. Something a little look here. You've only lost once in your last 6 games, 3 wins, 2 draws, and a defeat. Like, the form has definitely picked up. I wanted to touch on a couple of players. Obviously, Trevoh Chalobah is on loan from us. I've kept a little eye on him. He's scoring a few goals here and there. Yeah. He won't be available this weekend. First question, how big a blow is that for you boys? And secondly, how's he been playing at Palace? Is he an important part of the team?
He is. He's been starting a lot of games, but it's a weird feeling. For me personally, anyways, I think some Palace fans have different opinions. But I feel like he's got a mistake in him. And we've seen it so far this season. I don't know if he's not, because he hasn't played as much in pre-season, of course, for you guys. And he's just been adjusting. But he's had fantastic games, such as against Brighton. Then he'll have a game, for example, against Forest, which he'll just head the ball straight to the opposition, and it's like it's sloppy defending. But then he's had good games recently as well. Against Southampton, he was very good. So overall, he's been good for us. I'm not saying like he's been bad for us, but when you're talking about signing a player on a permanent deal, when it was Ruben Loftus-Cheek, for example, when he came over to us on loan, I would have loved to have him on a permanent deal. I was like, yeah, sign him up. Gallagher, same. With Chalobah, some people are saying yes. Some people are saying, is he worth the price that Chelsea might ask for us? So, yeah, he's been good. But I still feel like with the centre-back positions, we can explore the market in the summer to see if we can find better. But he's been loving life at Palace. I've been happy for him as well. He's been scoring goals. The chemistry's been improving as the games are going on with Lacroix and Guéhi. And yeah, he won't be available for this game. But overall, I think it's good for him that he's getting good, decent minutes. But I'm yet to decide if I do want him on a permanent deal. That's the territory I'm at, because I just feel like the grass could be greener on the other side. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong.
No, it's a fair point. I mean, I don't think there's any option to buy in the deal. I think it was just a straight loan. So let's kind of wait and see what happens on that one. Will he be a miss on Saturday? Or you think you've got the players, you've got someone else to come in that can cover that gap?
Chris Richards played against you lot in the reverse fixture, so he'll be starting in this game. And he actually played good playing down the left-hand side. However, Guéhi was suspended in our last game. So with Guéhi coming back, I wonder if Richards is going to move to Chalobah's position, or if Guéhi's going to move to play down the right-hand side. Richards is a good option to have off the bench. He could start games as well. He's physical, he's fast. So I expect him to do a decent job. But even with him down the right-hand side, he's not as comfortable as he is down the left. So it could be an area that Chelsea could be like targeting in this game. Saying that, I don't think he played too badly against you lot in the reverse fixture. I can't remember him making any like major mistakes. And we had Nathaniel Klein in defense there, not even Lacroix. So yeah, I think he should be a capable enough replacement. And hopefully, if he doesn't make any silly errors down the right-hand side, I think we should be fine in terms of solid defensively.
I mean, obviously, we drew the game earlier on in the season. I think back in August at our place, 1-1. How, from a Chelsea perspective, mate, how can we expect Palace to set up for this game? Like, how do you think Glasner will set the boys up, and how do you think you're going to play against us?
I think there'll be like a mid-block. We'll press you at certain moments. I'll be honest, in the reverse fixture, we only had like 14 first-team players fit. We didn't have majority of these new signings as well. Lacroix, for example, didn't play in that game, which is a massive addition. This one, we didn't win a game for the first 9 games or so. So it was a struggle. We were playing Adam Wharton. He was out injured. He couldn't even run properly. Hughes, of course, picked up that early yellow card. So I think this is a different Palace side from that game anyways. I think there should be a bit more going forward. Kamada, for example, that started in that game, he won't be there. So I think we'll try to hit you on a counter-attack. And the player to look out for and has been scoring goals is Ismail Assar, because that's where he excels, where there's spacing behind, where he can run through. He's very fast. He's also physical as well. He's tall. And that's the area, especially down the right-hand side, with him and Munoz just trying to hit Chelsea on a counter-attack. But yeah, in this game, we should of course, we have more players. We have more than 14 first-team players. We should have a okay bench. The bench still is lacking depth, in my opinion. But yeah, I think it should, in theory, be a better Palace side than you lot faced last time around. I mean,
how's Mateta's form been this season? Because obviously at the back end of the last season under Glasner, when he come in, Mateta was banging goals. Is that still the case? I mean, I think, has Nketiah scored for you boys yet? If he has, it might only be once. Yeah, what's kind of the dynamic within the centre forward position? Is it going to likely to be Nketiah? Is it going to be Mateta? I mean,
yeah, it'll be Mateta. Yeah. He's been starting up front. Nketiah has been coming off the bench, but he hasn't had that many minutes, to be fair. And even when he has come off the bench, he's been playing sometimes as like the number 10, which is not a number 10. It's like playing Eze up front. I don't know what you really expect from Eze up front if he was to play there. So that's the struggle with Nketiah. But Mateta's been good. Mateta's been, his first touch, from the Mateta that I knew from the day he walked into the club to now, he's grown so much and he's improved so much as well. He's caused Gabriel and Saliba problems when we face Arsenal, and they're meant to be very good centre backs. He's physical. He's fast. His finishing has been on point. I know he's missed a few chances here and there, but overall, he's had some good finishes and has won us games so far this season. There was a slight concern about Mateta in the December fixture run, as well as Eze, because it seems like they were a bit fatigued. However, we've had a week's rest. I think Glasgow gave them days off after Southampton as well, so hopefully he should be fresh. And if Mateta's fresh, he's actually been one of the better players so far this season.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he's always a threat. He's a physical guy. He's a big unit. They haven't got the most physical centre backs. So it'll probably be Colwell and Tosin again. I mean, we've had a few defensive issues in recent games, so that could be an interesting battle for sure. What have you made of Chelsea, and like how are you feeling about this game? I mean, you worried at all? I mean, I wouldn't say we're like a wounded beast or anything, but we've had a poor 3 games. We still played some good football this season. We've still been one of the best teams in the league, despite our recent blip. I mean, how are you feeling about this one, and what are your thoughts on Chelsea so far?
I think Chelsea this season overall, you've been very good. You've been very good. I haven't got carried away with Chelsea in terms of like saying you're going to win the league. I know you might disagree. A lot of Chelsea fans do, but I did think that you're in a race. I'm not saying you're going to win the title, but you're in a race. If you're second, you must be in a race. But some Chelsea fans are saying you lot are just trying to stay up to downplay those rumors. But yeah, I've been impressed. I think earlier on in the season to the middle part of the season, I think that's where it's like the honeymoon phase. I think now it's not like things are awful, but it's trying to discover what's going wrong and trying to fix it. And I think that's why I didn't really see Chelsea winning the league this year. But yeah, you've got the depth. I mean, you got 2 squads. The fact that you can go to the Conference League with a whole nother squad is just is crazy in itself. So you've managed that well in terms of resting players and making sure you prioritize cups individually. Saying that with your second squad in the Conference League, you should still probably win that because it's that good of a squad, and you can rotate it. So yeah, I've been impressed. I don't know what people really expected of Chelsea this season, but I didn't really expect Chelsea to be flying this quickly so well under Maresca. I thought with the new players coming in, it might take a bit of time to adjust. Saying that, I've been a bit surprised as well by Maresca recently and some of his subs and decision making, because I don't know whether you agree or disagree, but I do feel like Chelsea have options off the bench, and sometimes he could just rotate it about, whether that's an attack and other areas of the pitch. I think defensively, and especially with your goalie Sanchez doesn't. If I was a Chelsea fan, for example, he wouldn't give me any confidence. I know he hasn't. Maybe people get onto him a bit too much, but that's a player that we can target. That's a player that we targeted when he was at Brighton. I remember we had barely any shots on target. There was a set piece, and it went to Sanchez, and he dropped it out of his hands, and we literally scored a goal from there, and we managed to get a point against Brighton. So he's got a mistake in him. And I think defensively, you haven't been terrible, but I think it's just about finding a balance. You've got a few right backs who, I think it was Disasi who played right back against Ipswich.
Mad.
Remember, but
we had 3 right backs on the bench and we played him.
Yeah. So it's a bit confusing. I think Maresca's trying to figure things out. The only thing with Maresca that I'll say is that at Leicester, I remember, I think it was towards the middle, towards the late end. I know they got promoted, but I think Leicester fans had a few questions as well about him.
They did almost throw away the title because there was one point they were over 10 points clear, I think, and then they ended up winning the title by maybe 1 or 2 points, and it was actually pretty close in the end. So, I mean, they're look. I think there are a few things for me that have crept in last few games that I'm thinking, I'm not quite sure I understand the thinking behind that, but I think we had to kind of contextualize it a little bit. The last 3 games have been terrible. There's no escaping that, but the good start that we've had means that we are still 4th. We're a few points off second place. We're still well on course to qualify for the Champions League, which is the aim this season. But I need to see a response from the manager. And I need to see a response from the players. And this is a difficult place to go, as we touched on before. A couple last-minute winners over the last couple of seasons. This will not be an easy game for us. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to say that we're going to get the 3 points and return to winning ways. But right now, with how we're playing, I can't feel overly confident heading into this one. But I mean, mate, how do you see it going to round this out, bro? What are you thinking? Do you think your boys can get something from this game?
It's a hard one to say because I was confident against Arsenal and they got thrashed 5-1. But the reason why I was confident is because so far this season, to be fair to Palace, we haven't been terrible against top 6 sides. I think we lost Liverpool 1-0 at home, and we've seen how good they are so far this season. Drew against City, face United, didn't lose to them. I know that's not a really great mark, but against Spurs we beat. And yeah, like as long as we can defend our box and we don't have any silly errors like we did against Arsenal, which as I said is like a one-off, that 5-1 game. It didn't even feel like a 5-1 game. I've seen Palace lose by like 3-0 and we should have lost way more. I just think it was just Arsenal were just crazy clinical on the day. I do think we could try get something out of the game. I think that should be the aim. And I think Glasner, him as a manager, he targets every game as a win, which is refreshing to see. Like, he's not going to approach this game thinking, oh, let's get a point. He wants to win in this game. And we've had a bit of a rest. And yeah, I think I'm going to go for like a 1-1 draw. I wouldn't mind that. And I think we just have to make sure we frustrate you lot with maybe defensively and not allow any spaces in behind, because I know on a counter, for example, there could be a few opportunities. It depends who plays in defense. But there could be a few opportunities because that's where you've been a bit, lacking in terms of like decision making at times. So yeah, I think this game suits us well. It's New Year's first game in the new year at home at Selhurst Park. Managed to win our last game, had a bit of a rest, and in this game with Glasner, I know we'll be targeting the win. I don't think we'll be getting a win, but this is, I guess, an ideal time to face Chelsea, and ideal time for you lot to face us as well, because let's see how the players react. You are Chelsea Football Club. These players need to be holding responsibility and trying to get out of this rut. So, it's not going to be easy. It shouldn't be easy. And if it is easy for Palace, and if we do get the win, then further questions need to be asked, because, it's like, what's going on? You can't just drop points against Ipswich, Palace, Everton, and all these other sides.
For sure. I mean, I'd love to say we're going to get back to winning ways. I think we might just have enough. I'm going to go for a 2-1, but I could easily see this ending up being a draw. I think an early goal is going to be really important for us just to kind of settle the nerves. And the longer it goes on, given the run that we've been on recently, the more nervous and frustrated we might get, and there could be opportunities appearing for you. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. But yeah, mate, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure as always. Let the people know where to check out what you guys do.
Yeah, thank you for having me on Back of the Nest on YouTube and all other social media platforms. Crystal Palace fan channel. We'll talk reactions, previews, news, everything. But yeah, thank you for having me on.
No, pleasure, mate. Guys, it'll be tagged in the title. Make sure you subscribe, show the guys some love. Smash the like, subscribe to myself, and we'll catch you again in another one soon.